New York City, a name that echoes ambition, dreams, and innovation. But beyond its reputation as the cultural and financial capital of the world, New York tells a compelling story through its architecture. From colonial brick homes to the Art Deco spires that pierce the clouds, the city's skyline is a living museum, a dynamic timeline carved in stone and steel. Let's take a journey through the rich and riveting history of architecture in New York. Every era left its mark, and its story to tell. Before we dive into the incredible story of New York City's architecture, I have a quick favor to ask you. If you're passionate about history, design, or just love the energy of New York, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and turn on the bell so you never miss an episode. Hey, drop a comment below telling us which NYC building amazes you the most. Now, let's step into the past and explore how New York's skyline became the legend it is today. The architectural story of New York begins in the early 1600s, when Dutch settlers established New Amsterdam. The buildings of this time were modest, often constructed with locally sourced materials like wood and brick. They resembled the Dutch townhouses of Amsterdam, featuring steeply pitched roofs, stepped gables, and small windows. After the British took over in 1664, the architectural tone began to shift. Georgian architecture became prominent, symmetrical, balanced, and orderly. Trinity Church, built in 1698 and rebuilt in the Gothic style in 1846, stands as a rare survivor of early colonial religious architecture and was still a striking figure in Lower Manhattan. By the 1800s, New York City was expanding rapidly. This era gave birth to some of the most iconic building types in NYC history. The brownstone townhouse, with its warm reddish facade and elegant stoops, became synonymous with New York's residential neighborhoods like Harlem, Brooklyn Heights, and the Upper West Side. Brownstones reflected a growing middle class, affordable, stylish, and practical for urban living. Meanwhile, Soho became the world's largest collection of cast iron architecture. These buildings, built between the 1840s and 1880s, featured intricately molded iron facades that imitated stone, an affordable and innovative method at the time. As the 19th century rolled into the Gilded Age, wealth flooded into New York, and architecture turned from practical to opulent. Influenced by European traditions, the Beaux Arts style took hold. Think of the New York Public Library, Grand Central Terminal, or the iconic mansions lining Fifth Avenue. These buildings oozed sophistication and classic grandeur. Architects like Richard Morris Hunt and Stanford White brought over ideas from Paris, designing palaces for the likes of the Vanderbilts and Astors. It was a time when architecture was used to show off wealth, status, and culture. Nothing defines New York City more than its skyscrapers. And it all began in the early 20th century, with the invention of steel frame construction and the elevator. Buildings were no longer bound to the ground. In 1913, the Woolworth Building soared to 792 feet and was dubbed the Cathedral of Commerce. Then came the Art Deco era, a style that mixed elegance with the machine age. The Chrysler Building, completed in 1930, is still hailed as one of the most beautiful skyscrapers ever built. Just a year later, the Empire State Building claimed the title of tallest building in the world, a title it held for nearly 40 years. These structures weren't just feats of engineering, they were symbols of ambition, resilience, and modernity. After World War II, New York embraced modernism. Function trumped ornament. The skyline began to fill with sleek glass and steel towers inspired by architects like Ludwig Mies, Van der Rohe, and Le Corbusier. The Seagram Building, 1958, became the epitome of this style. Clean lines, minimalism, and a celebration of structure. Corporate America found its architectural voice in these towers, which lined Madison and Park Avenues. Even the United Nations headquarters, built in 1952, reflected a post-war vision for international peace and cooperation. Embodied in glass, the 1960s and 70s saw the rise of brutalism, a style known for its massive concrete forms and fortress-like designs. Though often criticized as cold and uninviting, brutalist buildings like the Whitney Museum, now the Met Briar, and parts of the Lincoln Center gave the city a muscular, raw aesthetic that still sparks debate. By the 1980s, postmodernism had arrived with a bang. Architects were tired of the strict rules of modernism. Instead, they embraced color, ornament, and irony. Philip Johnson's AT&T building, now 550 Madison, introduced a Chippendale top, on homage to furniture design, and shocked the world with its playful historicism. This era was a mix-and-match playground, where old Met knew and design was about personality, not purity. Today, New York architecture is in a new renaissance, one driven by sustainability, innovation, and global aesthetics. Green buildings like the Bank of America Tower and the Edge at Hudson Yards aim to reduce energy use and environmental impact. Meanwhile, a new generation of super-tall residential towers like 432 Park Avenue and 157 are redefining luxury living and causing controversy over shadows and skyline congestion. At the same time, beloved institutions are being reimagined. The High Line, once an abandoned railway, has become a global model for urban reuse, lined with modern marvels by Zaha Hadid, Renzo Piano, and more. The architecture of New York is more than just buildings. It's a reflection of its people, its power, its culture, and its constant evolution. From colonial cobblestone to futuristic glass peaks, every structure tells a tale. Walk the streets of New York, and you're walking through time, a living archive of dreams made real. And as the city continues to rise, so too will the legacy of its architectural brilliance.